Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the 12th of June, and just from service, and then I want us to look at the politics of the day. Raila Odinga is making a first joint rally with Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka in the larger Ukambani region, and they are starting off in Machakos. So the rally, the first tour of Raila Odinga with Kalonzo, we'll see him visit different areas within Machakos County. Strategic enough that William Ruto's strong pointmen in Ukambani are coming from Machakos. That is Johnston Muthama and Maendeleo Chapchap, who is the governor of Machakos, Alfred Mutua. The Raila Odinga's joint rally with Kalonzo is very strategic, and of course is monumental as far as the presidential bid of Raila Odinga is concerned, because remember, it really took a lot of lobby within Raila Odinga's ranks to convince Kalonzo Musyoka to fully support him. So that is something that I really followed, and I wanted to see the reception and how that really will be. Now, in this analysis, there is something that happened in Machakos, not in Machakos, somewhere between Lolongo, around Mavoko, and how a confrontation ensued between Kenya Kwanza, or rather UDA, and Azimio supporters. I'm going to play that audio for you. So just stick around, because it's going to give us a picture of what exactly was being planned. Now, first, let me take you to Raila was supposed to visit the areas of Masimba, and of course he attended a church service in Masimba. Then they went to Yatta, and we understand that they actually took lunch in Yatta, Kalonzo Musyoka's farm. Then they went to Mwala town, after Mwala, Mlolongo, and Mavoko. So Mavoko is the last stop of Raila Odinga's rally. I followed on it, some few observations here and there, and I think for people who did not follow, the absence of Mutula Kilonzo, Enoch Wambua, and Dan Maanzo in those rallies. Even though we saw Wavinya Ndeti downing the Azimio's blue. In fact, Wavinya Ndeti was putting on the blue, Waita, and the rest of other aspirants within Machakos. The three were missing, conspicuously missing. And if you realize, I think even the rally that Kalonzo Musyoka held yesterday in Kajiado, these three leaders were not meeting. They were the hardliners around Kalonzo Musyoka. I want to speculate that perhaps Kalonzo Musyoka came to realize that the three gentlemen were working on dragging him to Kenya Kwanza. The same strategy that William Ruto used to drag Cleophas Malala, to drag Davadi to Kenya Kwanza through Malala. So Kalonzo might have realized that the three boys were playing hardball on him, so that in any case he doesn't work with Azimio, maybe they're working behind the scenes for them to join Ruto team. And now they're finding it difficult, because their position is the more they will stand with Kalonzo, with a bit of the vibrance and around Kalonzo, they're going to then get the elective seats. Now, in Mavoko there is something that happened, because Mavoko was the last stop for Raila Odinga, because remember, it started all over in Masimba, and a clip, someone shared with me a clip around midday. Actually, the person who shared this clip in my WhatsApp is a boda operator whose his stage is just around the Mavoko place, and he told me, "Hi bro, ebu sikia hii, kuna kitu ina happen, eti wase wamelipwa kwenda kuheckle mzee akifika hapa." So he sent for me this message. Then I was like, okay, fine, can I get an evidence to it? And he shared with me this audio. Now, these people are talking in Doluo, and of course I'm going to translate it for you, because it was a bit of a confrontation between the two. And by the way, it went, so I was telling, why don't you take a video? Then he was like, okay, the police was even around there. So he actually feared. But let's listen to that 30-second clip.
Mnaenda kupiga Raila kelele hapa. Machakos mnaenda kupiga Raila kelele. Oh, sasa umepatiwa 600. Umeja looting ama fuck ni bwana. Ando kazi pesa tokanya. Mnajua mmepatiwa 600 na Ruto mpige Raila kelele hapa ni Ruto UDA. Raundi tuko na nyinyi. Tena mzuri umeniambia vizuri. Hiki tu sasa inaenda kwa OCPD basa hii.
Now, if you listen to that, they're saying the way they've been paid 600, and in fact they were bragging that they've been paid 600 bob so that they will wait. And this was like Satan, you know, how unajua Raila atafika saa ngapi? So ultimately this is something that was there. So I find out something in the asker. Who do you think can plan that? I don't want to take this to William Ruto's doorstep. I want to take this directly to Alfred Mutua. Alfred Mutua is one of the leaders that would prefer the politics of optics and perceptions. You know, he's a PR expert, and he's struggling to explain his take, or rather the clout that he's having in Kenya Kwanza. And there is something that you need to look at. In the recent past, after joining Kenya Kwanza, Alfred Mutua was given a script, and the script has 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph is to explain why he left Azimio. I don't know where, when a leader in the stature of Alfred Mutua, even if he explains, he was just a governor in Machakos. Even if he tells Machakos residents that he left Azimio, I'm like, is that big consequential? It could only be consequential if someone like Kalonzo Musyoka explains why he can't work with Azimio, or maybe someone in the stature of Mudavadi saying why he's left Kenya Kwanza. Mutua is just a governor. 2, he explains why Kalonzo has been played, and this is targeted to deflate the influence of Kalonzo Musyoka in Ukambani. Now, I have captured, if you listen to all his speeches in those rallies, he talks about the same thing, but I've just picked this one here so that it gives us a picture of what Alfred Mutua does in Kenya Kwanza.
Kwa ati ministers 5 naenda kwa sei, unajua, acha niongee kwa Kiswahili. Pale Kalonzo wanamdanganya, wanamwambia ati Azimio atampatia 5 ministers. Kwanza tujue kwamba nusu ya serikali ni ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Already 10, akina Mutai Kagwe, akina Matiang'i, akina Wamalwa, wote wako hapo ikiwa atashinda. Wakiwa hapo inabakia wengine 10. Raila yuko na watu wake, akina Junet, akina Joe. Unafikiri yuko na nafasi 5 ya kupatia Kalonzo? Hana nafasi 5. Wacha niongee ni kitu ya maana. William Samuel Ruto atunaingie tambaye ya Mokamba position itatu cha cabinet minister serikali maa yake. Kimweki deputy chief minister. Nono chief minister already didibo aya anaingie Mudavadi. Asia tibo wau nitu kwata miradi.
Now guys, 2 observations that you can see from that clip. When Alfred Mutua talks in Rift Valley, in Ukambani, and when he's talking about what Kalonzo is not getting in Azimio, he speaks in Kiswahili. Now when he's struggling to explain what then he's getting in Azimio, rather what he's taking to Ukambani, and I don't want to lie, what he's taking to himself and Machakos, he speaks in Kikamba. Simply for the rest of the country not to see the kind of trick that is being played. So if you listen to that is the trick that Alfred Mutua uses. So this, if Kalonzo and Raila heckling in Mavoko, would only mean 2 things. One, that Kalonzo is facing rejection because of endorsing Raila and not going to the ballot. And remember, if you listen to the clip that I've been playing for you, that was the intended narrative, that Kalonzo perhaps is facing what Musalia Mudavadi faced because Musalia Mudavadi crossed over to support Deputy President William Ruto. So that has been there. And the first joint rally of Kalonzo and Raila was the perfect opportunity to achieve that. This is something that you can see for yourself. But in this video, 2 weeks, let's talk of 3 weeks after, not 3 weeks, I think it's 3 weeks. 3 weeks after Kalonzo Musyoka joined Azimio la Umoja, I want us to do a honest assessment on why I have a feeling that Kalonzo's influence is unshakable. Yes. In fact, if you compare between the two, if you would have crossed to Kenya Kwanza, it will shake. But with remaining within Azimio, I have an in-depth about this. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly subscribe. Until you will realize something about Ukambani politics, Kalonzo Musyoka have a strong backing of united Ukambani clergy. The church is playing a big role in this politics. That is one thing I know. And so, if you look at Ukambani and Nyanza, the clergy from those two regions are normally very straight with the national, with what the regional person is saying, or rather the regional kingpin is saying. You've not heard of a clergy in Ukambani that are coming out to say, speaking against Kalonzo Musyoka. You've not heard of any from Nyanza speaking against Raila Odinga. Now, go to Central. It's a totally different story. Things are split into two. There are those who say Uhuru is bad. There are those who say Ruto is good. Now, the clergy are behind Kalonzo Musyoka. And church is a very strong bearing of the family units in the society. Church carries a lot. Even follow recently when Martha Karua was in Makueni, she was received very well and even being prayed for. And if you look at that, it is going to help them to have a united front compared to the other regions. So that is one observation that I've made from it. The other thing is Charity Ngilu and Kibwana factor still remaining strong in Azimio la Umoja. I want you to look at this photo. This is the photo when they were in the church in Masimba. If you look at the front seats, where Raila is, it is Raila, Kalonzo, Kibwana, and Charity Ngilu. And all of them are there. So what Raila has successfully managed to do is to make sure that even with Kalonzo Musyoka, he still has to keep close Charity Ngilu and Kivutha Kibwana. These are two governors that have been successful. Kivutha Kibwana has been successful in his work as a governor. And Charity Ngilu has also been having a lot of impact in Kitui. And Charity Ngilu and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka comes from the same county. Now, the reason I'm saying this is very important, if Kalonzo would have crossed to Azimio la Umoja, then the three governors, all of them cross over to Kenya Kwanza, I'm telling you, Kalonzo will be having very difficult time. Because even Raila Odinga's strategy number one was, without Kalonzo, he was to work with those three governors. With these three governors now here, Charity Ngilu is seeking re-election, Kivutha Kibwana, a gentleman politician, and even during Madaraka Day celebrations, Mutula Kilonzo Jr. came out to praise Kivutha Kibwana for having successfully worked as the first governor of the county. So these two leaders are giving Kalonzo a good backup, even from the ground. Managing expectations of Ukambani region is one thing that was giving me and was giving Raila Odinga a worry. Even if you bring Kalonzo Musyoka, is he going to come with the 1.5 million votes that he has, or is going to cross over? Because prior to making the final decision to join Azimio la Umoja, a stage was set for exit. And it was a big trap that was set by Enoch Wambua, Dan Maanzo, and Mutula Kilonzo Jr. They would go to media and polarize the ground, gratify the minds of audience, of voters in Ukambani. And so it had to take a personal intervention of Kalonzo Musyoka, one, to break ties with those three gentlemen, then make a conscious decision. But then Kalonzo Musyoka coming out to own up and say, I take the position of chief minister. This statement.
Clergy and the professionals have decided to accept with humility and appreciation my nomination as the Chief Minister in the Azimio One Kenya coalition.
Now, this statement really means a lot. That statement has played a big role in Kalonzo Musyoka to cement his region. You know, what people were feeling is that he was being mistreated. That is what the voters of Ukambani had been sold. When UDA would go there say Kalonzo is being mistreated, the three gentlemen would also go and say he's being mistreated, the interviews and all that. But Kalonzo coming out to redeem that by saying, I own up, I take that position, and I am fully in Kenya Kwanza, rather, that I am fully in Azimio la Umoja. That statement worked very well to make the audience understand and then stick with him. Show me a clip where Musalia Mudavadi came out publicly to own up the position of chief minister. Show me. Share with me in my WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number is here. Show me. He has never done that. Of course, for obvious reasons, perhaps it is most likely impossible. Now, lastly, you cannot compare Kalonzo Musyoka's Wiper Party strength to the other. Just like in Luo Nyanza, ODM, in Luo Nyanza Western and Coast, ODM is very dominant, and major part of Nairobi, ODM is very dominant. If you go to Rift Valley, UDA is very dominant. If you go to Mount Kenya, there is a split of UDA and Jubilee. Now, if you go to Kambani, the most biggest party there is Wiper Party. So Kalonzo Musyoka knew very well that for him, he can play his bargain well, but there was no way he was going to lose his voting, his fan base, his supporters, because of a strong party. Apart from Wiper, there is only Muungano, the NAK Party for Charity Ngili, which is only around Kitui. There is only the Makueni one is for the governor, and Maendeleo Chap. Those are small parties. But Kalonzo has formidable party, the party is his, and with strong candidates on ground, is most likely going to win. And of course, in Azimio la Umoja, I think they've also worked on some sort of party zoning. So the party zoning is also giving party strength. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my understanding why, even though things, they will plan to heckle him, but Kalonzo Musyoka's support in Ukambani is unshakable.